Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Marcy, and I hope that you're having a lovely day and everything is going well. So, today I want us to talk about something that I have been wanting to talk about for a very long time, but just getting enough time to talk about it. So, you know this song? I love country music, especially the old country music. The new country music is really not nice. You know, the old country music, it used to be a full story like this that, oh, she met a guy, they had a fight, they are now back together, or they left each other. You know, it used to be a complete story. Nowadays, no, something is missing. Anyway, so there's the song for the gambler, John Williams, and I absolutely love it. For what reason? Because it says you have to know when to hold them, know when to hold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, you know? And that's what we're going to talk about today. When to let things, when to move, you know? Okay, so recently I had a conversation with somebody that I highly respect, and it was just a out of the blue question I wanted to ask this person, and I asked, okay, let me ask you, how do you give up something for sure, something you know is for sure, and apply for a job? Like you have a really good job. How do you take the chance to apply for a different job? What happens if you apply for that other job and you don't get it? Or what happens, especially if it's in the same company? How do you go back to your boss and go like, yeah, well, I tried there, it's not working now, let's go back. You know, doesn't it make you feel like you betrayed, like you are a traitor or something like that? You know, there's just, I don't know, for me. I was like, yeah, that would be a bit weird. And then I got to thinking, I recently changed jobs and I got to thinking about a time when I had actually started thinking about changing jobs. And I reached out to my then boss, who was an amazing woman, and she told me that, well, you know, if you see anything internally that you would like to do, because I think you have a lot of potential, and if you see anything internally that you would like to do, let me know. And I did apply for something, and when I reached out to her, I told her, okay, yeah, so I've applied for this one. And she was like, oh, great, I actually think you would be great in that team. You would love the team if you got the job. And anyway, I didn't get it eventually, but well, you know, things happen. So I So I decided that, okay, this would be a good question to ask this friend. So basically, what would you do? And my friend told me that it depends on what you want in life. If in life you're only content with just having enough, then that's okay. But if you want to grow, if you feel passionate about what you do, of course you want to give more. If you feel passionate about something, you want to give more, you want to advance, you want to make things better. But if you're just okay with having a job, then you know it's different. Then you're more worried about your job security than your career growth. Around that same week, it was the same week that Trevor Noah was doing his final daily show thing. So, for those who don't know, which I wonder where you've been living, Trevor Noah is a South African comedian who went to the US, was doing the Daily Show, another American comedy show, for a few years, and he loved it. So, I think so. When he moved there, well, nobody, most people didn't know him, even though he was making like people who knew him, and I actually had started liking his comedy just before he even showed up in that show. And people say that he actually was making more money as an independent stand-up comedian than what he was going to be making what the Daily Show. And after a while, I was like, this guy needs to leave. I felt like he is so underutilized here because when you watch his comedy show, when you watch his stand-up shows, and when you watch his stand-up shows, they're so funny. And then you watch his The Daily Show, and it's normal. Like, it's funny, it's really funny, but it's very, you can tell that it's not him. You can tell that somebody else wrote the script, you know? And I just kept feeling, won't it just destroy his natural passion? And I remember given one interview, he said that he kind of liked traveling because then he gets material from traveling. Now, my question to myself was, how does he travel now that he has a show to do 5 days a week? So he has a show to do 5 days a week. When does he travel? When does he travel for him to be able to gather the material? And how long does it take? For me, it just felt, I hope this guy is planning on living. And then he announced that he's planning on living. Now, of course, some people went like, why would he do that? He's in such a good place. He's a household name. He's a what? I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you live when you're at the top of your game. You live when you're at the top of your game, because then it's good. If he would have left because his ratings are dropping, or he's losing, I don't know. It just would have been different if he would have left when things were bad. But he was leaving when he's still a household name, when he's still something to aspire to, both ways. Both ways, I think it would have been nice if he would have like done a bit of a transition, like 2 days, and then, well, anyway, both ways, he left. Now, is that what everybody should do? I don't think so. I just don't think that everybody is cut out for that. I believe that people should take risks. I feel like I took the biggest risk when I decided that I was going to leave a job that I was very comfortable with, but I had stopped enjoying. I still liked the job. I still liked what I was doing. I still liked the people I was with, but there was just something missing. I felt like I'm the kind of person, if I'm not giving 100% to it, then I don't want to do it. And I had reached a place where it was repetitive, and I was feeling like I'm just not me. I don't know, I'm not finding the motivation for me to do this. That was scary. It was really scary, because I was coming from a job that I could literally do. If you woke me up at 3 a.m. and told me, do this, I would be able to do it with zero mistakes, to go into a place where everything I would have to check. How is it done? Why is it done like that? What are the policies? It was, honestly speaking, it was a very, very daunting thing. But, well, that's life. I mean, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Well, shit happens. Anyway, I had no idea how or what to do with that feeling of emptiness. And my solution to it was, let me try finding something else. Now, if I would have tried finding another job and then after a few months I'm still feeling, then it would have been a different case. But in this case, it seems to have worked out for me. Same for that friend. It actually worked out for him. He did get the job, and he was happy with whatever it is that he was doing. Now, there are people who are scared of taking risks. And to be honest with you, I was very scared for a very long time taking risks. Um, when I first thought about, because as I said, I had been not fulfilled for a while. But when it first happened, I gave myself excuses. I said, you know what, maybe it's the wrong department. So maybe if I change departments, I'll get mine. And then it went to, maybe I'm just not doing enough. So if I ask for more workload, then I will not have time to be bored, and I will not have time to feel like I'm not doing enough. And then I moved to maybe just thinking that it was everybody's fault, not mine, and maybe if I just stayed away from everybody, which of course doesn't work for me because I love people. I really love being around people. But well, I kept giving myself excuses as to why I was not happy where I was. And then I realized that I had just outgrown the place. Sometimes your will to grow is stronger than the place you are. And when that happens, then it's time for you to just let it go and go, because otherwise you start shrinking. And I don't think you're ever going to be happy in that shrunken sense. You will eventually get used to it, but you will not be happy. And then you will just lose your joy. And then that's it. You can live the rest of your life without that. But, it's just at the beginning, it's troubling you, and then it reaches a place where it gets comfortable, and when it reaches that place where you're comfortable in your discomfort, then that's it. It's like when you're wearing a shoe and it hurts. At some point your toes have gotten so numb to the pain that you don't feel it anymore, and then that's when now you get cones and stuff like that. But you don't notice the cones, you just realize that, well, I don't feel my feet anymore. You get what I mean? So that's the danger of staying in the same uncomfortable place for a long time. And I'm not saying that every time it has to be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's just you have a plan. And the way when you go for job interviews, they always ask, oh, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't think many of them care. I don't even think but when you ask this question, I think sometimes reflect on it and go like, do I really want to be in this place for 5 years? And if I want to be in this place for 5 years, what do I want to be doing in 5 years? Do I still want to be doing the same thing? And if you want to be doing the same thing, then ask yourself what's wrong with you. Because, I mean, most of the time you actually want to grow in something. Even if you're doing the same thing, you can be doing the same thing, but in a different way. Or, things can shift. There has to be some value that you're adding to whatever it is that you're doing. And I feel like that's what many of us lack, the fact that we are over here thinking and hoping that things will change and improve, and yet you've just outgrown the place where you have been. This happens also in relationships. Sometimes you meet somebody and you're very much in love with this somebody, and then you've outgrown the person and you're holding on because you're thinking, I'm not sure if I've outgrown the person or if I'm just the one, you keep giving excuses, and eventually you're going to run out of excuses, and then we'll come and have a real conversation about what's happening. But, you know, uh, both ways. This was about careers, not about relationships. I'm not very good at giving relationship advice. I'm really bad at that. But anyway, so in your career, if you feel like you have outgrown the relationship, the place where you're working or the job that you're doing or whatever, look for solutions. Either grow internally or leave the nest. It might be scary out there, but well, something has to be done. See you all.